Also,
All right, so you guys want to go?
sure.
Pull up.
As far as I can tell, it's
Is it? No.
Oh.
All that work for nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let me see. It says it's going here. We'll see. Whatever. I tried, guys. Give me an A for effort.
So, hello everybody. I know most of you, some new faces. Again, Mike Sarasti from the city of Miami. I've been at the city now for 4 months. Part of that, spent a lot of time at the county. So, props to all the work being done for Cut Group, because I'm still following all that work there. With that, also be expecting that I'll be coming back and knocking on the door so we can take some of that Cut Group energy and now work on the city of Miami site. I'd already warned these two about that. No apologies about it. I'm having a very friendly competition with my old peers back at the county. I wanted to get right back in and make sure that we tackle the city's website. So in my role as Chief Innovation Officer, I have a lot of different things that I'll be involved in. I've been doing a whole permit process review and getting involved with permitting data and how we get the department, that discussion elevated more. But I'm also can't keep my hands off the digital presence because it's so bad that I just can't bear to let this thing live for much longer. So the project when I got in there was they already had an initiative to redo the website. So I just asked that I have a little bit more involvement. Obviously, I've got a little bit of a history with some of the Miami-Dade.gov stuff, and obviously you guys are here, and we want to do as much as possible to get the community involved with this project as possible. So this is the city site as it is today. Like I said, the IT department and the communications department are both involved, and me from the city manager's office is sort of spearheading and rallying the troops from different places. We're officially kicking off this project today. This is really the first announcement, right? So we've decided to give it to you all. Jack Maddens is here. Jack gave his intro earlier. He was with Code for America in his previous life. When Ernie was a fellow, we had done some collaboration. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring back all those crazy memories.
Year ago today?
What's that?
Year ago today?
Year ago today, that's right. You and me on stage, buddy. So Jack, we got to meet Jack and his work there. Since then, I'll let him tell you about what he's doing today, but Jack has come on board with the city to help us kickstart this project. So we're not redoing the entire website right now. What we want to do is we want to start with an alpha, beta, pilot, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get it started. We're started with some a survey that we are looking for some help from you all to send it to everybody that you know and get the word out. We're trying to get some feedback on this site to get things started. We're doing a lot of work over the next 8 weeks around this alpha, and the idea is to build a small prototype that over the course of the next year we'll be able to replicate and build at scale. So with that, I will turn it over to Jack.
Yeah. All right. So,
Mouse is behind you, sir.
Cool.
See it.
Yep. So a few things I just was going to show you before opening it up for a short critique of the City of Miami's website. Is kind of like how I got here a little bit and why I give a shit about city websites generally. I was at Code for America for 6 years, and one of the last things I worked on was an initiative we had called the Digital Front Door Initiative, which was the idea that the city website in 2016 is the digital front door to your city. And one of the experiments that we created that I was actually Miami was the second city to implement it because I slacked it to Ernie, was the dashboard that we made. So this is a second iteration of that dashboard. So this is actually the current traffic as it is reflected on this City of Miami site right now. And as you can see, this is a little bit better version of it because it has a time series and everything. But as you can see, it reflects realities of the city website that are not reflected in its engineering or design. Most predominantly, that almost half of the traffic is being visited on mobile, and the site isn't even mobile responsive. The second being that, as you can see from the time series here, is that there is a pretty significant amount of traffic that happens after the city doors are closed and no one's picking up the phone lines. And the point I like to make here is that when both those things happen, the city website becomes the city, and people are treated to a lot of content that is out of date, processes that are hard to understand, that have been articulated by people who are 1, 2, or 3 steps removed from how that process even works. And at that point, it creates a pretty significant accessibility problem for the city, where people who don't have the time to engage or come down to City Hall in person now can't. And as follows the trend that we've seen in a lot of cities is that people really only go to the city website or deal with the city when they absolutely freaking have to. And as a result, most people don't even remember when they have because they kind of black it out. Believe me, I know because I interviewed a lot of these people. So the second thing that I did was, as if I was curious about, this is the city of Miami itself. I was interested in, wow, what about like local governments across the entire country? That's completely fractured across, thousands of shitty digital presences. And I was like, so where are we at with that? And so I did a passive analysis of 3,036 U.S. city websites. And Mike hasn't seen this yet, but we're going to see how Miami did. And we rated all these 3,036 websites across 8 criteria. And this is largely because I interviewed a ton of city webmasters and people who manage websites. And the only thing, so like there's a few findings. No cities have no goals for their city websites generally. For IT, if the city website is up, it is good. If it is down, it is bad. If for the mayor, if it has a big picture of the mayor on it, it is good website. So what we try to do is introduce a few new phrases and a lexicon.
Fail.
Nice.
That's a fail. But it gets worse. So content readability, I can't believe you guys actually did this well on it. But this is basically understanding that if you graduate from high school, you can maybe easily grasp
For
the words.
context, like the New York Times is written in 8th grade.
Exactly. Mobile readiness is a fail. Page load speed is a pass. Accessibility is a pass. There's no SSL on the site, which means that any information that's passed over that site is easily snoopable. And by the end of the year, if they don't get SSL right, then Google and Firefox are going to tell people to not trust the city websites. You're in a situation where, as a resident, you're getting told by probably the institution you now have come to trust more that city website is even less trustworthy than otherwise. And the SEO is kind of messed up. So the point is actually not for me to get up here and shame anyone. It's actually...
Are you sure?
Yes. This is actually the most shaming way I've done it, but it's a brigade meeting, so what's what it's for? And so the goal is to really try and get this information out there, and so that people have the resources and a little bit of the external pressure to actually do some of these things. And all these things, for anyone who's made a website in the last 5 years, these are the basics. These are about getting the basics right. Even doing well on these criteria doesn't mean you have a great website. And so what we're trying to do over the next few weeks is to build a prototype that gets all of these basics right, and then goes a bit further to try and make sure that not just the content, but a full transaction is able to be finished on any device, anywhere, at any time, basically making the City Hall open for business 24/7. The two calls to action for you guys is, one is the survey, which is available at MiamiGov.com.
Yeah.
What?
That
No,
is
it's
MiamiGov.
MiamiGov.com.
Yeah, it's MiamiGov.com.
MiamiGov.com/survey, and it's also in Spanish at MiamiGov.com/encuesta.
It will be. It actually pops up too. The survey pops up. You just go to Miami.
Which is another fantastic feature of the City of Miami website, which we're totally taking advantage of.
Right. We figured if we're gonna use it for every other crappy thing, we're gonna go ahead and let it go. Right?
And the second.
We should put it up there. So we can see it.
That's a survey. Do
you guys want to take a collective brigade survey? I'm just joking. So the whole two things I was hoping to do with you guys that I thought would be informative would be man, if you got to design this, what are some of the first things that come to mind about this? And the second thing would be, we're currently, what I'm doing with Mike this week is basically going around and talking to a lot of people and trying to figure out candidate services that could be included on the Alpha site that can be provide a significantly better digital experience. So with that, I'll take some any comments about. Honestly, would love to hear any experience you guys have had of the City Miami website, or otherwise crit or questions about why the hell we're doing this.
This is hard to ask, but has anyone been to the City of Miami website?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you've been to the City of Miami website. Sweet. Okay. It wasn't cool.
Well, as you guys know, like we've been working on this trolley project. Mike's trying to help us get open trolley data. But I was interested in what you're saying about the trolley tracker being like a super popular feature on the site.
It's the 4th most popular page on the site.
Which is great, but it shows that there's need, right?
Yeah.
But why are people going to miamigov.com to get their transit information?
Because they have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a choice.
So yeah, there's stuff like that we think about a lot that you already know about because we've been in your ear about it all the time. The basic like accessibility things around language, I think, are a real problem, and I'm curious as to like how you guys, I know you're thinking about it, but yeah, I'd be interested.
So one thing so basically the way this process is going to work, just to give you a little more insight, is is your tab thing that? Oh, there you go. Is we actually we're recruiting a few services to include on the site, and they're modeling a pretty rigorous digital services redesign process. We're bringing those subject matter experts who run those services in for a half-day workshop where we actually rewrite the content with them. And then also build out a service using a web form. We're mostly targeting like PDF mediated services right now. And then if all goes to plan, we're going to be able to actually do a early iteration of a cut group where those city staff are going to sit quietly and watch someone struggle against the service that they just created and use that feedback on the next iteration that will basically comprise the first alpha. But one of the tools to your question, and this is something that I think we could all use probably in our everyday life, that I like to use in this one because it's no fun to be the person that's just telling them they're doing it wrong. So I use this thing called Hemingway. Can I show this to you?
Oh, there's a.
Oh yeah, Hemingway. Yeah.
H-E.
Hemingway's great.
I am typing over my back.
That's allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. This.
Yeah.
So what this does is it basically like gamifies plain language. And so instead of me being like, why are you using that word? Or like, can you make the sentence shorter? I find that public servants really respond to like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like make this thing better. And it kind of takes it off of us. And they bookmark it and then use it on their press releases and stuff like that. So it's another way we're trying to like spread the use of common sense digital tools.
You've seen groups actually like iterate this into a press release and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I've literally watched a communication director be like, oh, this is good. Yeah.
So I'm curious too about things locked behind PDFs. Like there's a lot of that stuff. Are you guys thinking? How are you thinking about that?
So one thing that we can do for the overall redesign is a recommendation that we have is to implement Google Tag Manager on the site, which allows for us to track PDF downloads. And so if a PDF is downloaded a ton, it should be content on the website. Or if it's a form, it should be a web form. So just being able, and most cities are currently running the free tier of Google Analytics. Google Tag Manager is also free, but much less deployed, which would basically just start creating the data to back up why the form or why that PDF should be content or a web form. Yeah?
Do you have like a reference implementation?
Reference implementation of what?
City website.
Oh, a great one. Do you want to like? Do you want us to look at cool city websites? So, yeah. So one that So let me show you what we do. Let me choose. So this is let's only show you like the alpha that we made just recently in Grand Rapids. It's a pretty good one. And so this will kind of reflect kind of part of our end state.
Sorry, it's taking forever.
Yes. So what this reflects immediately is just, and this is much smaller than a typical city website would be, but the prioritization of top tasks, just like right there on the homepage. So I believe that 45 to 60% of your traffic should probably be, people should be able to accomplish that on the with one click from the homepage. What we find is that a disproportionate amount of traffic is basically accrued to like 10 pages. And so what someone said, you were saying earlier how it's just so hard to find stuff. And so the strategy there is like put it right there for the top 9 things that as you learn from the data what the seasonality of certain services are, you just kind of put them right there. You also have search that indexes, like for instance, every PDF on the website, and also allows you for like common phrases like instead of trash, or sort of I should say refuse, it also knows that is equal to trash and basura. So yeah, there's just a much cleaner version of the site that is like way less cluttered and basically allows, so it still has that kind of news and events aspect to it, but it just like hides it in a way that's a little more straightforward. So this is kind of reflects a little bit of the look and feel that we might arrive at. Mike is keen to reflect something that looks a little bit more Miami sexy than what we have for Grand Rapids here.
Miami sexy.
What? So, how much pushback do you get about hiding the news?
We will find out.
Because my
Are we really hiding the news?
No.
I
You're
don't
not,
think we're
but I
hiding
mean,
the news.
I'm just saying, like, you mentioned that if it has a big picture of the mayor's face, then it's a good city website.
For them, for many of them, yes.
So there will be pushback. When we experienced that, like after, we saw that in the county a lot. So that's part of the discussions we're having. Luckily, I'm speaking now from the city manager's office, and we have a very, very supportive administration about this project now. So if we need to come from that standpoint, I think we'll be good.
And I'll add to this, largely what we're trying to accomplish with the alpha, because like most, what we found is the vast majority of cities are just kind of on like a 3 to 5 year redesign treadmill, right? And that means that they're going out and getting a facelift every few years and not doing a lot of the deeper work. And so that means that a lot of sites have not reframed from being department-centric to being user-centric, which is focused on services and what people actually want to do on the site. And so we feel that if we can be successful this week and with the alpha of that we can build something that people are going to love and find a lot more useful with a service-oriented site, it will give us the mandate to reflect that with everything else. And so that means that it's data-driven by analytics and it's informed by iterations of user testing, and that everything else that people aren't clicking on currently are things that don't need to be included on the website going forward. And if we can get that mandate from the top, then that's something that we can.
Cool. So the survey is like your first argument.
So first, yeah, and
Yeah.
I made it a point sort of coming into it that everything that I'm doing is really to elevate the discussion around data in any project that we're doing, whether it's building a permitting thing or whether it's this web project, and really have that as being the focal point. Prior to me coming in, there was a ton of interest. Luckily, everybody already knows what we have right now is bad, and we need to do an update. I think the initial idea was, we're just going to pay somebody to go do it. I think we would have had gone down that road, we would have had a lot of people in powerful positions really saying, well, just make sure that you have this line item, right, that it's included, that we have to have news on the front page, or we have to have my picture on the home page, make sure that we can have our events front and center. We are, I think by scaling back, taking this smaller approach, starting with this pilot, it's going to help frame what we do in the longer term. It's going to let us kind of do exactly what we want on a smaller scale, validate it with some data, show it to people, have people react to it, and then when we come back and we talk to the administration leadership, it's not us just recommending you should do this. Who knows? Maybe people will tell us that they really want the mayor's picture front and center on the homepage.
I doubt it.
Right? Yeah, it's funny how you incorporate it. You didn't even rotate it once in a while.
There is a place for elected officials on the city website. I just don't think it's like right there, like hi, yeah, waving at
Oh,
you.
hi, I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
I think that's
Welcome.
been tested and tested over time. I think that's something we know. I think we've got now. This is also going to be a vehicle.
It's like no business has a picture of their CEO on
Yeah.
their homepage, really. Like,
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you guys need us to take the survey then. City of
Take the
Miami.
survey.
What is it?
MiamiGov.com.
If you go to miamidov.com,
Survey.
if you go to miamidov.com right now, it will be a
It'll pop
pop-up and ask
you
you to
won't
do
be
it.
able to avoid it.
That's fun.
But we figured if we're doing it for everybody else, we're certainly going to do it.
Cool. Other questions?
Is this
guys?
where we can fishtail into the cut group as well?
Hopefully. I mean, we'll see.
No. Meaning, can I talk about the cut group?
Yeah.
They're like, we'll see. I'm,
I mean,
Well,
he
see
said
about-
he wants to use.
no. We've
Yeah,
we've
we've
talked.
talked about it.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
talked about it. So for those of you guys that don't know about cut group yet, a group of us are working on a civic user testing group. We had an A Foundation grant of $100,000 to work on this. Some folks in this room are actually working on it, especially in a kind of a paid part-time manner. Danielle, me, some other folks that might be interested, let me know.